Editorial this evening is entrepreneur, journalist and author from the UK, Sonia Poleon, who will be speaking to the issue of Jamaica not being a dangerous place for tourists and visitors. Ms. Poleon, let's hear your views.
I didn't say it wasn't dangerous. But first of all, I just want to send out my condolences to all the people, especially like Karen Clary, who recently suffered a brutal killing over here in Jamaica, a returnee from England. And there's been other people in the news where it's been highlighted from the UK point of view. And I just want to say that my parents were born here. I've got 6 older brothers and sisters who were born here. I've come from a family of there's 11 of us, and every year we come back to Jamaica. We love Jamaica. I've been coming to Jamaica now every year since 2006, and sometimes twice a year. And I can say, hand on heart, I've never experienced any kind of violence. I've seen like arguments all over the place. I mean, everywhere you go, there's arguments. But I've never actually witnessed any violence. And so when my parents left Jamaica, they decided, well, actually, well, it's the British government who said, you know, come over because there's jobs and all that stuff over there. So they came over. My dad said he would come for 10 years. He ended up being there for 30 years. But in the meantime, he sent for the rest of the children that he had from here to go over to England. And maybe because he had more of us, you know, it meant that they stayed a little bit longer. They came against racism, and his heart was to be a lawyer, but when he got there, you know, there was no doors opening for him. So he just had to get a job to do what he could to feed his family. So I want to talk about, what's his name? Percival Latouche. Yes. He says, you know, returnees shouldn't come back to Jamaica. And I feel as if to say, well, you know, it was his dream that he should come back to Jamaica and live after he had been in the UK, I think it was for 30 years or something like that, right? And then he came here and all this stuff has started happening. Now he's encouraging people not to come. We've got people like Seth George Ramakun, you know, His Excellency, the High Commissioner of Jamaica over in England, who's actually doing a fantastic job trying to promote second and third generation British-born people who are from Jamaica to come back and invest in the country. And I think if everybody doesn't come back to Jamaica, what's going to happen to Jamaica? Who are we going to leave it for? Who's going to come and take over? You've got places like Africa where they got loads of loans going on from the Chinese, and the Chinese have been graceful giving them the loans, but are they able to pay it back? You know, now they're talking about they're going in, they're going to capture these countries. That's not what we want for Jamaica. We want the people of the land to come back and enjoy the beauty of Jamaica. I mean, earlier on we were talking offline and you said that Christopher Columbus said that Jamaica is one of the most beautiful places in the Caribbean. The most beautiful place in the
Yes.
Well, it's absolutely true. You know, yes. Jamaica is, I think it's the top 3 most popular destination in the Caribbean for people to come from all over the world. Now, if we start to scaremonger people, tourists, what's going to happen to Jamaica?
Well, you've been traveling back and forth, as you say.
Yeah.
So how do you find Jamaicans? Are they generally welcoming of you as they might perceive you, not as a foreigner, but certainly a returning resident, as we like to say here?
They do perceive me as a foreigner, but I don't really have no problem with them. I've never been in any arguments with them. I understand the culture is different here than it is at home. You know, at home, we line up, we do things orderly. Over here, you don't, you know. You holler, you shout, and you get in there and you do what you have to do. It's not my scene, but I do like a bit of bartering. I must say that. I do like a bit. So it's an opportunity for me to kind of like sharpen up on those skills when I come here. But I expect that because that's how the people are. And the sooner people from abroad realise that when you go to a different country, it's not going to be how you expect it to be at home, then we can just accept people and just continue.
But beyond you travel all over the world. But you're a second generation Jamaican. So
Yes.
do you feel that bond?
Yeah. Definitely, 1,000%. Right. You know, listen, about 10 years ago, I took my sons here and I realised that, well, actually, if I don't keep on bringing my children here, my culture is going to die off. And my parents were elderly at the time. They've passed away now, but they were elderly. And I thought, oh, my gosh, I need to make sure that my culture is going to live on. So every year, I bring them back to Jamaica. Now, they're adults. I don't need to say to them, let's go to Jamaica. They'll be coming on their own with their mates and having a good time.
But in terms of the connection, and you mentioned your children, in terms of the connection between second generation Jamaican like yourself and third generation Jamaicans like your children.
Yeah.
It sounds like the bond for a Jamaican living in the diaspora like yourself, that connection between yourself and the generations to come where you're in the UK, to make that connection with Jamaicans here. It sounds like it's very important to you.
It is important. It's my heritage, it's my culture. Why should I allow it to die out? You know, other cultures, other Western worlds, Western countries, they would want their culture to live on. I want mine to live on as well.
And you think we're doing enough? You think Jamaica as a society is doing enough? You think the Jamaican government is doing enough?
I don't think so somehow. I think more could be done, you know. All this scaremongering. Let's talk about the positive stuff that come out of Jamaica. Look at Usain Bolt. You look at Shelley Ann Fraser. There's lots of good things that's come out of Jamaica. So let's focus on the positive things and then more people will come in.
And build those bonds.
Yes.
And focus on fixing it, is your point.
Absolutely. Just imagine, look, you know, we come from the Western world. We've got these big ideas of things of how we could come in and help to change the country or change the community, to enhance the community. Yeah. If one person done that and somebody else done that before in a different community, before long we'll be building a better Jamaica.
Sonia Poleon, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
Nice talking to you. Well, we've been talking on our editorial, but now it's time for our social media.